Welcome to our podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Can we talk about Jem and the Holograms? Can we talk about podcast here? Can we talk about Jem and the Holograms specifically? We're going to be, talking. Going to be doing a lot of talking, Kristen. Is that what we're doing today?
Oh, well, I wasn't prepared for that, but if you need me at a moment's notice, I'm there for you.
Okay, and I hear that we have Madeline with us as well.
Yeah!
She's back!
I'm here, I'm back!
Striking again.
I never left.
Yeah, she's just been here the whole time. She's really quiet.
Didn't feel like saying anything. She was rebellioning against the past.
Your rebellion lasted a really long time, Madeline.
Yeah, I left the band, but I was always there.
You're writing songs for me and Joe that we have not been singing.
Yeah.
Sorry,
your genius is back, and it will be appreciated this time, I swear. But yep, this is it. This is episode 10 of Sabotage. Does it feel like 10 episodes already, Kristen?
Can I answer that knowing that we skipped this episode and have done others since then? So it's been more than 10 episodes?
Pulling back the curtain, we recorded 11, 12, and 13 already.
I'd like to be honest with our listeners.
I was trying to write around that so we didn't have to reference it at all, but there it is. You just laid it right on the table.
It doesn't matter that much.
Yeah, you're right. But here on this podcast, we're here to take your hand. We're here to lead you through the Technicolor Nightmare Dream Fairyland Great Terrible that is 80s cartoon air quotes classic Jem and the Holograms. We're experiencing the series through Shout Factory's Jem and the Holograms, a truly outrageous complete series set box, and the wonderful world of Netflix, which Kristen is Jem still on Netflix.
Yep. As of a couple of minutes ago, yes.
All right, good. Just so we know, just so everybody knows, even though, we're 5 episodes behind in releasing or whatever.
Don't worry about it.
You know what? I'm Joe. I don't think I introduced myself, but I'm here too.
Oh, we knew that already. Or you mean for the listeners?
Yeah, for the listeners. Well, no, you guys, I'm Joe.
I'm your sister. I knew your name was Joe, but
nice
other
to
people
meet
might
you.
not.
Yeah, it's nice to meet you. We're going to do a podcast together right now.
Oh, it's this. Okay. Yeah, okay.
Fantastic.
I wasn't prepared, but okay.
See,
this is
building bridges.
Through talking about 80s cartoons.
People who care.
But Madeline's here because we needed to share the pain on this one, because tonight's foray into Gemland is a doozy. It's an episode we've cited before as one of those kind of like, oh no.
This is going to be hard to talk about without us looking bad.
kind of episodes. But yeah, it's Adventure in China. I mean, last week, World Hunger Shindig, kind of, little rough in a few places. You would think, because they just kind of had to World Hunger plays a very small part in the episodes. Let's just paint with a very broad brush really quickly so we can get our point across. When it's just like, all right, we got an entire episode based on China. You'd think they'd take a little more care than they did.
Yeah, and there's no snazzy bar none barbecues to kind of buffer the weird racist stuff. So it's harder to deal with.
Buffer the weird racist stuff with more weird racist stuff, just of a different variety.
Yeah, you think they're gonna stop and they never do.
We're just
they
kind of
amp it up,
piling weird racism upon weird racism.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you, it's a good time.
Yep, we're just trying to not face our fears here at this point, so I may as well just I'm gonna lay down the law. It's time for the theme song, and then we're just gonna go full tilt. Let's go. So we start off Adventure in China. We got a big airplane, written by Beth Bornstein, who she is a new writer. We've now got, I think we're up to 3 at this point after Christy Marks and Mary Screens.
Screens, our favorite.
She's who to blame for this episode, so I'm going to keep an eye out for any other episode she's done, and if they're as weird and terrible as this. And we get a look inside the plane. The very first thing, we've got a stewardess kind of speaking kind of softly, I guess, to just be like, oh, she's totally Chinese. And I wanted to immediately point out whoa, hey, we're on Air China, better have a fucking Chinese-styled stewardess. But I looked up Chinese stewardess outfit, and that's not actually wrong. or anything, what she has on.
Do you think that that was a coincidence that they got that partially right, or that they did their research? Because it's hard to tell sometimes.
They're probably just on some like big tourism airline, and that's probably like it's one of those airlines that is probably like embracing the whole like, ooh, the mysticism of the Orient or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because like when she started talking to the people, I was like, okay, apparently this is a sky tour bus. If I were on a plane, especially to somewhere super far away like China, I don't care. It's like, oh, there's the Great Wall of China. It's like, oh, really? Is that there?
Presumably you've probably been on this flight for like 10 hours already. You're going to sleep.
Yeah, she was definitely talking to a bunch of sleeping people, and Jem and the Holograms were all, I don't know, I guess they snorted something before they got on the plane.
And got off I mean, we'll get into that later, as the time frame of this episode is all over the place as well.
Rio was so psyched to be in China.
Yeah, it's
can't sleep. No sleep till China.
One of the first things that the stewardess says is like, if you look out your window, you can see the Great Wall of China. Like, okay, we're in China, got it. And basically, Rio plays exposition man here, and he's just like, hey, thank goodness the Chinese government let you in so you could play that great concert at the Great Wall of China. And I'd like to stop for a second here about the Great Wall of China. I looked it up. I was like, are bands actually playing concerts at the Great Wall of China? Is that a popular...
Yeah, I was wondering that too. That seems like something that's kind of tacky.
That seems like a made-up thing that you would put in a cartoon from the 80s.
Yeah.
Well, all right, so I looked it up, and I assumed like maybe it's like, like the Budokan in Japan or something, and it's like one of these just places that aren't really music halls, but bands will go there and do things. And I looked it up. There was some documentary in 2005 about the concert at the Great Wall, which is like the first international pop concert in China at the Great Wall. And so, like, Jem predates this by, nearly 20 years.
Wow, on the cutting edge.
And this isn't some... This isn't some, like, podunk nobody concert, because it had people like Alicia Keys and Boyz II Men and Cyndi Lauper for some reason.
That's a weird...
In 2005?
In 2005.
Huh.
I get Alicia Keys in 2005.
Good for Cyndi Lauper. I'm glad she's still...
Yeah, doing something.
Having fun.
But Rio also is just like, hey, wish Jericho was here, and Jem has to be like, oh, well, she's gonna be here, so don't worry about it. Taking a completely different flight from her band, I guess.
It was funny because, like, knowing the plot of this episode, I get why Jerica had to be there, because otherwise it would be like, Jerica, what are you doing in China? But, like, the characters didn't know that the earrings would get stolen, spoilers. So why did Jerica have to come in the first place?
Right, because we've seen, I don't remember if it's in an episode after this, but we've seen definitely that Jem will just go places and Jericho will be like, oh, she's wherever else.
Yeah, that happened in the Twilight in Paris episode, because she was supposed to be in New York or something, right?
Yeah, something. Yeah, something like that, whatever. But
fine, whatever. And the Misfits are on the same plane, I'm guessing?
The Misfits are on...
A plane right behind them.
Yeah, just playing Misfits music out of big speakers. Just riding the ass of the other plane.
Yeah, I have a question about that, because we see Roxy, who's just like, it's great that we got booked into China, but I want to play at the Great Wall. And Eric's like, it was, tough, so at least, take what you can get, whatever. And it's just like Roxy, Stormer, and Eric all in this little line here. And I was wondering, like, is Pizzazz not on this flight? Because if Pizzazz was on the same flight as Jem, that plane would end up crashed.
Yeah. She was actually attempting to drug the pilot and take control of the plane. And they're just like, oh, well, we'll see her later, I guess. Or she grew into a giantess and just walked to China.
Just kind of, at that point, the ocean was just kind of up to her shoulders, so she's just like, whatever.
Yeah, I'm wet, this sucks, but I don't want to be on a plane. Not with Eric, she's sick of his shit, and I don't blame her.
But, yep, we get the plane lands here, and we get some really forced sounding Chinese accents from the crowd that have gathered.
God. The character designs are so racist. Every single person.
Like they basically were like, okay, let's put the same face on a bunch of people.
And they all have like a lot of weird extra lines on their face to maybe like denote like, something.
I'm exhausted because life in China is so hard.
God. And like when they zoom out far enough that everyone just becomes a colored blob, they're literally yellow. And it's,
oh, it's Jesus.
So
oh my God.
Bad. Nice job, artist.
It's really, really bad.
Just in case you ever forgot at any point in this episode that we're in China, the episode won't let you.
No.
Jem and company get off the plane. They're not running off the plane this time, thankfully, but they're still waving their arms wildly.
Could we go back for a second? Because I wrote a note that I really liked.
Oh, please.
When Roxy's complaining about the concert at the Great Wall, she says, like, who cares about a big wall? And my note for that is there are plenty of big walls in Philly. I've seen big walls, but that's it. And yeah, when they're running off the plane, they obviously can't be that excited because they're not waving their arms over their heads, which that's, they were really excited about Paris. They were really excited about the World Hunger Shindig. Apparently all of their goodwill has just seeped from their bodies.
Well, I mean, it's like Madeline said, they were probably on like a 10-hour flight, so.
But like, they were on like a pretty big plane, like when they showed
there's lots of
the
leg
whole
room.
thing. Like, it looked like a really big plane. Why did they have to like get off like on those little steppy things?
Because they're banned.
It just like, I've been to the Beijing airport. It is lovely. It does not look like that.
Maybe
It's very bizarre.
That's for bands.
I feel like that's just a thing in cartoons in general, is they don't feel like showing you the airport, really.
I guess, yeah, it's hard to draw. There's three things.
It's easier to just be like, here's the skyline and some trees, and there's the crowd.
It's less impressive if you get off your plane and then you have to walk 20 minutes and pick up your luggage and blah, blah, blah.
And there's the crowd.
Oh, all the way at the end.
I can't wait because I have a suitcase.
I've been in customs for 3 hours. The crowd.
We get 2 shots of the girl who's going to be important later, Lynn, because I guess to establish that she's a fan of Jem, even though she, we don't see her for another 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, she barely speaks at all in the episode, so I don't know why they need to be like, check out this little girl. Check her out.
Kimber describes the reception as outrageous, which, whatever, true, I guess.
I think it's pretty typical, honestly, but, whatever.
Pizzazz gets off the plane as well, like behind Jem and the Holograms and company and such. And I guess that shows that I'm going to assume that she was in the cargo hold maybe the entire time, just like screaming, like nonstop.
Probably. They need to put her in a little soundproof box.
Is it like Ashley, they just put her in a trunk and just like...
She was all strapped up like Hannibal Lecter. It was Silence of the Lambs, and she was just going, ah!
And Pizzazz comments on Jem's popularity, and Roxy points out that they have some fans too. But the banner that they brought says, "Welcome, Misfats."
Oh,
that sounds like these people they came there. They're not Misfits fans. They actually just wanted to nag the Misfits.
But how did they know they'd be on the plane?
They're anti-fans.
Well, everyone else knew.
I guess, yeah, you're right. Now it's time for them to go through customs, and the very large customs security man is, very staunch about, you got to remove all metal, even though when Shayna goes through the metal detector, she still has her earrings on.
Who cares?
Cartoon,
maybe they're plastic.
Yeah, maybe she's like those clip-on kinds. Her ears aren't actually pierced. The ones that I had when I was 10.
The ones in Pretty Pretty Princess.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I'm so glad you remembered that game. It's my favorite.
Jem needs to remove her earrings because she gets buzzed when she goes through the metal detector, and she's really hesitant about taking them off, presumably because the hologram stops working when she takes them off, but we see not 2 minutes later in the episode.
Mm-hmm.
She also, once again, Jem proved that she doesn't seem to spend some of her time like thinking of excuses that she can't do things that people want her to do. Like, they'll have to touch your holograms, do your makeup, and she'll go, I'll think of something, and then she doesn't. So my suggestion for this was, I can't take my earrings off because they're glued to my head.
Yeah, this episode features a lot of Jerrica not being able to come up with excuses for things, or just not thinking, which...
Or just being negligent in general.
General Jerrica traits, I guess we've found at this point.
Yeah, she's acting like Jerrica, no surprise. It's infuriating, but I'm not surprised by it.
So we've seen that, Synergy knows what's going on. She's talked to Jerrica through her earrings as if she's always listening. And
which is creepy.
Which, at this point, I would think Synergy would be like, it's okay, Jerrica, take off the earrings. You won't stop being Jem.
Which she clearly already knows this already, but who cares?
Then, some other people in, military-looking garb come through. You could tell because the one's got the hat with the red star on it, which we talked about in the World Hunger Shindig, that they're special guests of the chairman, and if the chairman trusts them, I think we can, which sounds like a gigantic security risk.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He was just doing his job.
This all sounds very risky, but okay. That worked out great.
So they all get in a limo, and Eric and the Misfits are in a limo as well, and they're speaking about Jem's little scene, I guess, where she's like, oh, I can't believe she didn't take off the earrings. What's with that?
I can't believe they noticed.
That was one thing that I pointed, because Stormer had said, oh, she always performs with them. Stormer, why are you always watching Jem and the Holograms? That you know this.
She's in love with them.
Yeah, we know why.
She's looking at Kimber
Really
and occasionally sees Jem.
Yeah, whoever brought up the earrings, Eric's just like, oh, you gave me a great idea. So he tells the driver to go to the nearest jewelry store, and there's a very awkward moment animation-wise where he cuts the wheel and there's a tire screech, but the car kind of cuts very slowly, and all of the Misfits and Eric kind of shift to one side and their mouths open ugh! But it's during a fade out, so it happens.
They weren't wearing their seatbelts. That shows you, kids.
Better wear your seatbelt. You're gonna slide over slowly and go. Whoa.
Was the car driver on the wrong side?
Oh, I don't know. That's a good question. Because it's on like normal like United States side, but I don't know what side they drive on in China.
I think it's the standard
Okay.
American. I
never know
it's
which
the
countries
same.
it changes in.
I don't think it's different.
Okay, I trust you.
I could be talking on my ass. I don't know.
We don't fact check anything on this podcast.
No,
Okay,
believe
great.
me, yeah. There's a lot of assumptions about China and things.
We fact check the 4 horses of the apocalypse, and that's it.
So we're at the hotel now, and they're taking a mineral bath.
It looks like they're in a just regular in-ground pool, except there's just a little bit of steam coming out that is only there for like 2 seconds.
And there's like rock walls.
Yeah,
Like,
luxury, and they have swimsuits on because the cartoon for kids.
Yep, Aja's swimsuit has raspberries and starbursts on them.
That sounds like something I would design. Delicious.
Kimber refers to the mineral bath as one of the true luxuries of China, as if she's a fucking expert at this point, when she's been in China for 10 minutes.
Of course she is. Well, it's the first thing she encountered, so I guess her only frame of reference is this one thing that she's done.
And here's the moment where Jem takes off her earrings, and she's still Jem.
that was so infuriating. Like, you could have just you didn't have to make this really awkward thing at the airport happen.
Now the government doesn't trust her.
You could have just had a smooth, easygoing airport experience, but you had to be belligerent.
And she also whispers to herself about how she needs to take the earrings off because the mineral water could short them out, which she could have said to anyone else in the room, but no, she needs to whisper it to herself like a big creep.
No, yeah, she plays exposition man to herself. Yeah, she says that the water might short out the earrings, which I think is this our first instance of like the Jem earrings not working when they get hit with water or anything?
I believe it is. So, like, it's, I guess, is this the only time we're told so far that things can interrupt the signal, quote unquote, from the earrings?
I guess, kinda. I don't know.
This is going to come up more.
Yeah, this is something that comes up again.
As
but
necessary.
just basically whenever the writer
Little
wants
rhyme
to.
or reason.
Yeah, as with
There's no point focusing on it too much.
Beth Borenstein seems quite keen on calling them the Jem Star earrings, which I don't think they've been called that yet either.
Nope.
But they say
Bad
that
name, too.
whenever they refer to the earrings, it's the Jem Star earrings in this episode. Other than that, it's just been my earring from Jem or Jerica.
Do you think that they thought little kids wouldn't know what they meant when they just said earring? Little kids don't understand words.
And they'd be like, Jem Star earrings. Oh, no, those! That's what earrings is. The things
Oh
on
my
her
god, they
face.
turned her into jam! That's my little kid voice.
Kimber says that there's a half hour until the concert, which opens up a lot of questions as they just got off a flight, which means shouldn't they be like jet lagged or anything? Probably a long flight from California to Beijing, I would think.
No. And they also, I feel like the holograms are dancing with the devil. With how, like, down to the wire they insist on doing things, like, not even when they're running into trouble, but also just, like, casually. They're like, oh, well, concert's in a half hour. I'll take a bath.
Yeah, I think they'd be practicing at this point already, too, if they were a normal band. As well as, like, by the end of this episode, if I were, like, the Chinese government people, I would be, like, even though Jem and the Holograms end up performing, I would still be incredibly pissed at Jem and the Holograms and never invite them back ever again.
Oh, yeah.
But punctuality means nothing. Cartoon.
Well, but Roxy steals the Jem Star earrings, and Jem reverts to Jerica because she's out of range, maybe?
I guess, I think the earrings need to be, like, able to see her in order to project onto her. I'm not saying that's how holograms work, because I don't believe it, but I think that's the cartoon's logic.
So if that were the case, then if the earrings go through the metal checky thing at the airport, then she could have turned back into Jerica.
Maybe.
Maybe. If they said that, I would buy it, but they didn't.
No, they just kind of sweep it under the rug. And also, she turns back into Jerica when she gets right out of the pool, and she's fully clothed as well. She's
Yeah,
not...
she was wearing clothes in the bath. Which is really weird.
And it's
So-
not wet or anything either, so...
Nope. So holograms, they're fucking magic.
I don't know, that's what just... I don't... Yeah, they're magic. That's basically what it is. They're magic. But fucking... Jem has to go and explain now that, they can't perform because... For no reason, actually. This is where Jerica coming up with an excuse would be great, but instead it's just, hey, Chinese government people, I'm sorry, but Jem isn't able to perform. Oh, why? She just can't. She just can't. That's all it boils. That's pretty much all she says.
Couldn't they at least said, like, she got her leg trapped under a rock somewhere?
Something like, yeah, she had to fucking 127 hours herself somewhere in China.
Oh my god.
Peg leg.
But the Misfits are here, and they're just gonna pick up the slack, I guess. And Pizzazz is wearing her shitty clown outfit as well.
I take exception to you describing it that way because I said that is her sexy clown dress. So how about you fuck right off?
Shitty and sexy, whatever. Who cares? They could be the same thing.
But they have that concert immediately, which is apparently different than the other concert later, but sure.
Well,
and for some reason, they show up to the show and then are like, let's get out of here.
Yeah, it's I think they had said too that it's like they're gonna have a tour, basically. Like the one Chinese guy,
they never described properly what that means.
Yeah, when they got there was like, hey, I await your, the concert at the hotel or whatever. And the only two shows that we know about on this entire episode is the show that the Misfits end up doing and then the Great Wall show later. So I don't know, but the Misfits play Winning Is Everything. Before they go on stage, they do their coordinated burn of enjoy the show, girls.
Which they shouldn't have done because it gets used back at them later.
Oh, it was so witty.
I know. The Jem and the Holograms can't even come up with their own sick burns. They have to wait for setup from someone else.
Rio comes over and he's like, well, wait a minute. Well, I thought Jem and the Holograms were going to perform. And they basically kind of brush off Rio like he's not important enough. What the fuck is going on why is Rio even here?
It's got to set up the lights. The lights in China.
A lot of lights in China.
They don't have their own lights, so Rio brought all the lights.
The lights at night are big and bright deep in the heart of China, and that's why they need Rio.
Yep, he is the heart of China.
Oh God.
And it all kind of ends with Rio kind of wistfully going, I wish someone would tell me what's going on.
Yeah, me too, buddy.
I have a question.
Go
what
ahead.
does Rio do for this whole fucking episode?
I know! That's my question.
Oh, he paced later at the end. In the background, he does nothing.
He has a small anxiety attack, and no one's there to comfort him.
Yeah, the
I
Holograms
feel a little bit bad for him.
The Holograms are off on a fucking adventure in China for the entire episode, and he's just probably hanging out at the hotel.
Like, he flew all the way to China, then didn't sleep, and didn't get to help. Like, he did nothing.
Go eat some buns, I guess.
So the Misfits are...
I don't speak Chinese.
Yeah. Oh shit, I'm in Beijing and none of us speak anything.
So the Misfits are playing Winning Is Everything on their boat thing. The Holograms are still hanging out, I guess, because, Shayna or somebody is like, I don't want to hear this. I don't want to hear the Misfits play our concert. And Kimber or Aja or one of them notices that for some reason the Misfits are making their plan incredibly obvious to Jem and company by wearing the fucking Jem Star earrings, all of them wearing a pair of them on stage.
I still feel like the Misfits are less into like execution and more into how many souls they can burn on the way.
I guess, yeah, that's true. They don't want to just make it so Jem can't perform. They want to embarrass her in the process, basically.
Yep. I don't know why at this point no one has been like, hey, Jerica, how about you watch your fucking really important earrings? Like, put them on a leash or something. She watches those earrings like she watches her orphans.
Jerica just goes through life not caring about anything, I think, at this point.
Yeah, and she's just indifferent to everything. She's become jaded.
After the concert, the Holograms confront the Misfits, basically, and the Misfits are congratulating themselves when they are confronted, but this all leads to a rickshaw race, basically, or rickshaw pursuit, I should say. They get on a rickshaw, and then the Holograms...
Why? There are no cars!
Yeah, why would there be cars in Beijing?
Yeah! Have you ever seen a car in Beijing? Probably not, because you haven't been to Beijing.
Are they just in, like...
You wouldn't know.
Are they just in the most touristy part of Beijing?
I mean, like, some of it, I'm like, okay, there are parts of places that are monuments, probably. But they never once encounter the city. Like, not once. Like, it is a big city.
So our first song is You Can't Catch Me, which is really boring.
Yeah, this is a really middle-of-the-road Misfits song, I would say. The only thing I really like about it is the stupid tire screech noises in it.
Yeah, I was gonna write, what the fuck was up with that? It was like part of the soundtrack.
I like it.
There was a key on Stor's guitar that went...
Getting really into electronica.
Yeah, why not? China electronica.
And there are acrobats in the street while there are...
Oh my god. There are... Sorry. Almost all of my notes are like all caps me complaining about things like this. There's acrobats and people wearing rice patty hats. Like, those are the only people in this neighborhood. Like,
guys, this is still China.
Oh my god.
They didn't leave yet.
There's a ribbon dancer lady, and then Pizzazz gets a hold of the ribbon and just ribbon dances all in Jerica's face. And
she ribbon attacks Jerica.
She ribbon attacks Jerica, who I guess this is very troubling to her because Jerica is just kind of like as it's happening.
She had an accident involving ribbons in her childhood, and they don't like to get into it, but it was actually that was an episode that she was having. You should be more sensitive, Joe.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. But then they end up having a bike race pretty much. The entire song, the visuals are basically it's a game of keep away with the earrings pretty much.
Yeah, monkey in the middle.
Monkey in the middle, exactly. And the lyrics all pretty much boil down to "I'm great and you're shit,"
Like most Misfits songs.
like most Misfits songs.
At some point, Pizzazz gets cornered right by the Great Wall of China.
Or just a large wall.
Okay, can't we assume that if they're showing a wall in this episode, it's probably the Great Wall of China?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Knowing the show and what it's been doing so far.
Yeah, but the earrings get thrown, and then someone else throws them up over the wall where Pizzazz, Olympic wall climber, has already climbed up. And I don't actually know what this is relating to, but I also wrote a note, Roxy, murder junkie.
Sorry, Roxy, what?
Murder junkie.
Murder junkie, of course.
I don't remember. Oh, it's Aja after this is climbing the what the hell would you even call that?
I called it like Buddha Valley, pretty much.
Oh, shoot! I should know the name of it. That big, that big monument with all the cool carved.
Yeah, Aja's showing off her great arm strength, I guess, climbing this thing. And everyone's saying, Aja, don't do that.
Olympic climber Aja Leith.
Yeah, and so I think someone knocked something on top of her. I don't know.
No, what happens is she reaches up and somehow she has this incredible hand strength that she pulls this thing down that when it crashes, it's bigger than any of them. It's a huge statue that she somehow tipped over. I don't understand.
Well, then I don't know what my murder junkie note was about, but I can guarantee it was probably accurate based on our experiences with this series so far.
Yeah, we did skip ahead a bit there. So that's where the song ends pretty much with, Pizzazz on the Great Wall.
Olympian wall climber.
Yeah, Olympian wall climber Pizzazz. And now they're at some sky buckets. What's the proper name for these?
We should know this. One of us should know this. And the sad thing is, if we can't come up with something other than sky buckets, no one will know what we're talking about.
It's the thing on the wire.
A ski lift, but a box.
Like a ski lift, but a box. There we go.
They have them in Until Dawn.
Yeah, I know.
What are they called?
I'm thinking of too.
Sky bucket ski lift box.
You know what we mean.
So, now we're at a place with some ski lift, bucket, sky lift things.
Oh my god, this is where the murder junkie comes in.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Because Roxy messes with the controls and shakes them.
Yeah, the holograms all changed their clothing at some point as well. The Misfits are all wearing the same thing, but for some reason the holograms aren't. But yeah, they get in the sky bucket ahead of Jem and the holograms, and when they get out, the Misfits head right for the controls and just start fucking with it completely. I believe what Roxy says is that they are going to show Jem and the holograms the true meaning of rock and roll by shaking their sky bucket a lot.
Yeah, by making the sky bucket fall off of the wire onto the ground and then roll. So rock and roll.
But that doesn't happen. They just kind of leave after a bit. They shake the thing a bit, and then it's just all right, we're done. And then the scene transitions to a kung fu temple.
Sure.
For a scene that lasts maybe 5 to 8 seconds for no reason at all.
Because martial arts, we're in China.
Because martial arts. Yeah, just the holograms are oh, where'd they go? And they run away, and all of the Misfits are dressed in gis for some reason, and Pizzazz kicks the shit out of one of them, the karate dudes.
It literally puts her foot in his ass.
And I believe Pizzazz quips something along the lines of, oh, I guess we got to brush up on our kung fu. And there's like everybody's attending to the guy who got kicked, and there's these weird random grunts that you could tell was them being we need to just background noise of exclamations in Mandarin or whatever. So it's just them.
And you make noises that sound quote unquote Chinese.
Yeah, basically.
Great job, guys. I don't know how they didn't notice the Misfits there, considering all of the men were bald. They didn't notice green hair, white hair, or blue hair, but sure.
They're all wearing headbands too for some reason.
Oh, that's how they blended in.
Of course, that diffused their hair color immediately.
Yep, it's like camouflage.
But now they're in some Buddha Valley, which is what we were talking about before. Aja's an Olympic climber as well, who she climbs up this pretty big cliff, and we don't have any explanation as to how Aja got up that far, or why the Misfits are already on top. And
well, I mean, if she can jump into a moving plow, this seems like something she could also do.
Stormer's concerned about the statue and not Aja for some reason.
Well, it's been there for a while.
I assume it was expensive.
True.
And Aja breaks it.
Priceless might be a more accurate word for it. But
I think that's actually what I wrote down.
Expensive.
Yeah, I'm sure that wasn't priceless or anything. Don't sass me.
Roxy, when Stormer expresses her concern, is just kind of she'll be fine, let's go. And then, this is where a giant Buddha statue falls, and segment 1 ends with the holograms looking like they're about to be crushed by this Buddha statue. And when segment 2 opens, the scale of the Buddha statue changes completely to where it was just kind of, it was like normal Aja size before, and by the time it hits the ground, it's fucking, it's like 3 stories high. They could have fucking died.
Yep.
Nope, but they're fine. It's a cartoon.
It was just like, oh, that was close, and that's it, pretty much.
I do have a note here that it's a real pity this episode is so racist, because that was a really pretty, like, place to paint. It, like, the backgrounds were really, really lovely there, and it's like, this would have been really cool if it wasn't horrifying.
Ham-fisted and terrible.
Yeah.
Too bad.
So close but so far away.
So they're on a train now. That's where we have transitioned to, is a train.
Yes.
Don't know where the train's going. Are there trains from place to place in Beijing, Madeline? Do you know?
Oh, I was only in the airport, but I am guessing.
That sounds right.
Probably every city has trains.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't like subway trains. This is like steam trains.
It looked pretty retro, but it also, everyone on it just looked like a standard commuter. So it could just be someone's like daily train they take.
It makes sense. The Misfits have changed to their default outfits now. Pizzazz is no longer wearing her clown outfit.
Which is a shame.
I appreciate that at least the Misfits don't dress up in this like weird, kind of like stereotyped kind of Chinese-inspired outfits just because they're in China. At least they're like, we look like shit, we're gonna keep doing this.
You know,
this works for us.
The sad thing is that that's probably supposed to signify them not caring.
It's probably supposed to be them being insensitive, and in fact, it's just them acting like people and not being
how I
weird
dress.
about
Why
it.
should I change it based on my location?
Yeah, they don't get into costume because they're visiting a new country. Oh my god.
But the Misfits think they lose the holograms, and that's where Jem is like, oh no, you're wrong, and they think that they have the Misfits cornered, and I believe they say they have the Misfits cornered, and Pizzazz is just like, oh yeah? And then they all just kind of play Red Rover and fucking like break through the wall that is 4 holograms.
Well, they all weigh like 60 pounds, so... And Pizzazz is like a football player.
Well, in her mind's eye, she is the sky and a football player.
That's exactly how that line goes.
And then Pizzazz, for some reason, screams at Stormer to throw the earrings from the train when all of them are going to do it. So
I don't understand why they're allowed to have this confrontation on a public train.
Yeah, like those 4 people.
Yeah,
they just wanted to go places.
They're all just sitting there, not reacting either. Like, oh god,
they're probably used to shit like this.
Fucking Americans.
Yeah, for real.
But yeah, they've all got a pair of earrings. Each Misfit does, and they all play Throw Mama from the Train by throwing the earrings from the train. One
I love that game.
pair lands in a dude's cart, just like some market guy cart, I guess. One lands on a fucking archaeological dig site somehow.
That one's my favorite.
Yeah, that was weird.
And
why does the commuter train go over an archaeological dig?
That seems like bad.
It's like an oversight, maybe.
And the last one lands in the trash.
Where it belongs. There are Jericho.
Except those are the good ones.
Sergi's like, are you fucking kidding me?
And, this little segment ends with Pizzazz laughing and saying, looks like the Misfits win. And we go right into a song because the rest of that train encounter was probably really awkward.
Oh, can we get off? Is this our stop? Stormer, check him out.
Did you pull the cord thingy, or is there like a button?
I don't see. What do we do? Excuse me?
Are we supposed to pay the fare now, or
they checked our? Did they check our ticket?
Oh, did we get a ticket?
Oh shit! Did we get on this train without paying? Of course we did. With the Misfits.
Just climbed into the roof.
I hadn't thought about it until like that moment where the song cuts off what would be just that the Misfits and the Holograms sharing a train, kind of just being like, okay, what now?
They laugh at the Holograms until they get off on their side, and Jericho's crying.
And here's where song number 2 happens, which is Something Is Missing in My Life, which is a pretty general song, but considering like it's about the earrings. Like the earrings are what's missing in your life.
Kimber wrote this really quickly.
It starts with some vocalizations from Jericho, and that's probably where Kimber was like, I don't have the song yet, so just kind of like or whatever,
Yeah, do the thing you always do.
And this.
So is this song our Jericho can sing, and it's not Synergy amping up her Jem vocals?
I guess. I mean, it's labeled as Jem and the Holograms, right? And she obviously can't
Jericho
be
and the Holograms.
Jem. So yeah, the song isn't listed as Something Is Missing in My Life by Jericho Benton. No, it's Jem and the Holograms. So all this song is basically like a means to skip over
us trying to figure out where the earrings go.
Pretty much, yeah. It's all them kind of. It's like a montage of them looking pretty much. We see the earrings changing hands from the guy who had the cart to another guy at a market, and then to another guy at a market. Bartering, of course.
In China.
Because they don't have money in China.
Nope. What does Chinese money look like? Shit, we don't know.
Earrings. Just use earrings and like fish.
It's perfect. They're not plastic.
Someone finds a pair at the archaeological dig site.
Yeah, no shit, they found them. It landed on top of something.
You would think, like, when he brushed the dust off him, he'd be like, well, wait a minute. I thought I was looking at this like 2 seconds ago. Why are there these...
Hang on, this is plastic.
Yeah, once again, that would be another fun thing. During the lyric of On a Bus or Walking Down the Street, we see Kimber on a bus.
On a bus?
Yep. That's our favorite thing.
On a bus.
I'm on a bus. Look at me on the bus.
Oh, that's the thing, because that becomes such a normal thing later down the line. I assumed that when it went to Walking Down the Street, it would cut to like Shayna or Aja walking down the street.
Yeah, they're not that blatant yet, but they're gonna get there.
We get some earring being sold at an auction, which I guess is the same archaeological dig ones, maybe?
I don't know.
I think so.
I wasn't paying
That would make
attention
sense.
to the guy who bought it. I don't think it was the curator that shows up later, but it might be. I don't know.
Who knows?
Because,
If all these people are big-ass fans of Jem, how come they don't recognize these earrings?
Also, how come they don't see the cheap-ass studs in the back that she presumably has to have to keep them on her ears?
I'm just getting angrier the more I think about this.
And the trash man finds the earrings.
Oh, good for him! Like, oh great, it's plastic.
And, yep, this final shot is Jem at the Great Wall looking sad.
That's Jerica.
Oh, excuse me. Of course it's Jerica. Are we
She
in
doesn't
China?
have earrings, Joe.
I forgot.
Yeah, it's Jerica and she's in China. These are important details. Make sure you don't forget them.
And that was something is missing in my life where, I gotta say, that was definitely all stuff that happened. I don't think we said for You Can't Catch Me, but that was probably all that happened other than pizzazz Olympic climbing, because nothing terribly out of the ordinary happened. Other than, I guess, acrobats and fucking people with rice patty hats in the street.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. That all sounds great to me.
But I like that both songs in the episode so far have like been in service of the plot. Like, instead of like a shitty chase scene followed by a Misfits song that doesn't relate to anything, we got, them combined, pretty much.
Yeah, just putting the shitty things together. That's called economizing.
I mean, the song does a pretty good job of like where the earrings end up is completely bananas. So the fact that I can follow it is very impressive.
Right.
It gets to the point where you're like, man, I'm definitely still watching this horrible cartoon because, before Something Is Missing in My Life starts, and the Misfits are like, yeah, we threw your earrings out the window. There were 3 pairs. You'll never find them. That should be the case. But they find the earrings. They find all 3 pairs.
I do have written directly after that, there are going to be some amazing coincidences.
Yeah, that's the kind of infuriating part of this episode. It's that and the racism.
Oh, yeah.
about even.
We cut to a factory where some guy is like selling the earrings to a factory, to the head of the factory, and he refers to the earrings as like real rubies, which I don't think is correct for Jem's earrings.
He should have like looked at them and been like, no.
These are completely flat.
Have you ever seen a ruby before?
Have you ever seen any gemstones?
Like,
well, you gotta remember, 2 of these pairs of earrings are earrings that Eric had like commissioned, I guess, that were also available within the same day of the Misfits
maybe they
concert.
look nicer.
They laser cut them.
Yeah, if anything, they look nicer, probably. But these very well, the fake ones that Eric got could be rubies, but then when Jem gets them, she should be like, well, wait a minute, these aren't the earrings, these aren't plastic.
She's not paying attention.
The Chinese factory guy quite literally says, I can make a lot of money mass producing these.
Well, sometimes the kids who are watching the show might not know how mass production works, and so the best way to do it is to make sure they have a permanent connection with China exclusively in their heads to mass production.
They're learning a lot about mass production. They're learning a lot of very true, accurate things about China
and the people who live there.
It's a learning episode.
Yeah, what Beijing looks like.
Yeah. It's all completely accurate. I believe it. I feel like a more worldly person because of this episode.
Thanks, Jem and the hologram.
We cut to a house in the country, which is, I'm assuming it's in the country. I don't know if it really, there's not too much establishing it. But the girl we saw from before, Lynn, is back. And the dad's like, I found these fucking earrings. You can have them. And she's like, oh, I'll treasure them forever.
Yeah.
Classic dad giving a bad present to his daughter.
a present he found in the trash can.
Yay!
Now, we'll get to this later when Lynn shows up again. But we're back to the holograms at this point. So now we found like the final resting place of all 3 of these pairs of earrings that they're never going to find again, ever.
Nope.
they've given up, and Aja, just for, she's like, all right, well, before we go back and tell the people that we can't do the concert, can I get a magazine real quick? I gotta make sure I'm still up on my Chinese.
We don't even know what to say about this.
Because, I make this mistake sometimes because I can't read any forms of any of the languages spoken in China, so it is a good shorthand, but also, presumably a specific one should be named.
Yeah.
It's not just that doesn't work like that.
I was saying to Madeline when we were watching this, I thought she named a specific something better than Chinese.
I could have sworn she said Mandarin or something.
Maybe that was... she must say it at some point if both of us thought that.
I don't know, but
who knows?
It's also one of these weird things because Aja's been pretty nondescriptly Asian, even though she's had some pretty Japanese themings at certain points, as well as Chinese themings, as we'll see later.
Spoiler alert: they can't figure out what the hell Aja is supposed to be.
Yeah, I just have nondescript Asian, basically, is what she is.
Yeah, with that very Asian name, Aja.
Yeah.
The magazine just happens to have a picture of the Jem Star earrings in them, which I don't know how many days it's been or whatever, but
they work fast.
Guess who got on the cover of Stupid Coincidence magazine?
Wow.
So they go to the mass production factory because they find the address of where they are being made, and in whatever passage of time there has been, they've become the most popular seller this dude has had.
This is such a dumb episode. Just logistics wise.
And yeah, because then immediately afterwards, Jem's like, oh, well, can I have the earrings back? And the factory dude, instead of being like, well, no, because I need the originals just in case, he's like, oh no, take them, whatever. I'm
so fucking rich.
I'll just mass produce my already mass productions, and then, we'll degrade the quality of the molds, and they're garbage.
I'm ready to just start exporting them everywhere. You take these pieces of trash, we can't afford to make them nicely. Still don't know what they're made out of.
And they check the pair. Not the pair. What a shame. Better go tell the people that I guess it's time to not do the concert. But then Aja again is like, all
Thank
right,
God.
so
She is the shortest attention span in the universe.
Aja again is like, well, wait a minute. I want to go to the museum. We're here in China. I want to go to the goddamn museum.
Just trying to stay positive. Enjoy your time there.
She is so happy to be out of this band.
She's
like, set me free.
She specifically says she wants to see ancient Chinese art. I mean, that's pretty specific, but whatever. So they go to a museum. Lost Treasures of the Ming Dynasty is the exhibit, I guess, which means that the archaeological dig is done, and it's time for it's already being exhibited in China. They work fast. Kimber proclaims that the treasures are outrageous before actually seeing them.
She's making an assumption, and you know what? Sure. Art is outrageous.
Pretty correct.
Good one, Kimber.
And here's the dumbest part of the episode, I would say.
I think I agree with that.
In an episode full of stupid coincidences and horrible ham-fisted racism, this is the stupidest part, I would say.
Uh-huh.
Because they find the earrings, again, another pair of earrings, and Jem's first thought isn't, I need to ask somebody about these.
I'm gonna steal shit from this museum.
It is quite literally Jerica going, let's take these. Her hand grabbing them, and then the alarm goes off, and Kimber has the reaction.
Get upset.
They're surprised. They're like, what's happening?
Let's run.
Yeah, Kimber has the reaction of an alarm, just our luck, as if they weren't expecting the fucking museum.
Why isn't museum theft easier?
Of all the museums, we had to find one with an alarm.
And then,
Unlucky.
You're right. Jerica is just like, well, let's get out of here. And then
turns out that doesn't work.
No, the fucking China
they stole from a museum.
The China police people come and they're gonna fucking take him to jail. That's how segment 2 ends, with him being like, well, no, you're arrested because you're fucking stealing.
What did you think would happen?
Segment 3 starts. Rio's getting an earful from the promoter / military people, the guy with the green whatever and the guy with the star hat who have been hanging out for the episode, basically being like, oh, I can't believe Jem and the Holograms aren't here yet. We're gonna have to cancel the concert if they're not here in the next few minutes, which...
Yeah. Is that the first time we've heard that? Remind me.
The Misfits are, pretty much already declaring their victory again in traditional Misfits fashion. And now we join the museum heist already in progress.
The shittiest heist in the universe.
Where Aja has the 100% foolproof defense of, we would never have taken them if they didn't belong to us.
That's true. I'm gonna go to a museum and be like, the Mona Lisa is fucking mine. Prove it's not.
I'm a descendant. I got it written here on a napkin that Mona Lisa goes to you when I die. There it is. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Legally binding.
There's a lipstick kiss on here. That's for you, wink. And then I flirt my way into getting the Mona Lisa.
Perfect.
I'm going to write a movie.
Yeah, Jerica's like yelling for the curator, and he's like, the curator comes out and he's like, I'm here. And he looks at the earrings and is immediately like, holy fuck, these are plastic.
Why did we display these?
Someone just like put them in there and didn't like show the curator first.
You're like, oh, check these out. They're a weird shape. Put them out.
And
So great screening, you guys.
yeah, and at that point, Jerica's like, all right, well, can we have him back? And the fucking dude is like, yeah, that's fine. Like, don't bother that you tried to steal from my museum. You can just have these things that aren't actually ancient Chinese heirlooms or whatever.
Yep. And they all bear hug him, which is not a cool thing to do to a stranger in a different country.
Yeah.
But okay.
Not only that, he refers to their hug as highly undignified.
Whatever.
And then he asks for their autograph.
So it's okay.
So, once again, he was a fan, but how did he not realize, wait a minute, these look like Jem's earrings?
No one thinks anything.
And the earrings are duds as well, so this
Yeah,
time...
so all of that was for nothing.
Yeah, this time for real. They're gonna just go back to the concert, and they're not gonna have the concert until they're walking backstage, and I don't know where these kids are in relation to everything else, because I'm assuming they're walking backstage, right? That's where they seem to be.
There is a attempted mugging going on with some little kids backstage.
Yeah, we got the little girl, the daughter of the trash man, Lynn, getting harassed by some dude with a stick, and Jerica makes the decision immediately, I'm gonna go kick this little kid's ass. But then Lynn twists the little kid's arm behind his back and she kicks him off, and that sends him running. So
everyone claps. They're like, yeah, look at that little girl.
Yeah, we weren't gonna defend you, we were just gonna watch.
Yay!
Yeah, nice
Mortal
job.
Kombat.
So the little girl has earrings as well, because they are her good luck charms. Guess what made the cover of Stupid Coincidence magazine again?
Yeah, and she's not even wearing them. She just happens to have them. And she's just kind of like, oh, well, got my good luck charm. I can't even tell if these are earrings. I just have them.
I know I said Jerica stealing the earrings is the stupidest part of the episode, but this is pretty stupid too. This is almost a front runner where Lynn is like, I'm here to see Jem and the holograms, with the holograms standing almost directly like within her vicinity.
Who are they? They have silly makeup.
I don't understand how she's just a fan of Jem. I guess she saw just a picture of Jem and was like, oh, the rest of those people, I don't fuck it, it's Jem and the
I like
holograms.
the pink lady.
I like the pink lady, exactly.
That's how I decided how I like things when I was little. So
I want a pink lady's jacket.
yeah, perfect. I'm Frenchie.
So Jerica has to tell this girl, sorry, we can't perform tonight because Jem's not feeling too well. Sorry.
She coerces this little girl into giving the earrings back to her because Lynn says, like, oh, this is my good luck charm. And Jerica, the exact thing she says is like, Jem's had some bad luck. You might as well have been like, I could really use a good luck charm.
Not only that, but she made sure to establish the connection as well. Like, oh, my father gave me a pair of earrings like that too when I was a little girl. So, you better give them to me.
But thank God, Lynn is a very generous little girl who actually doesn't seem to care about the good luck charms that much because she's like, you take them.
Yeah, she's like, I want Jem to have them. And they've been working under the assumption, by the way, that these aren't the earrings either, because Kimber refers to them as one of the cheap reproductions, I believe.
Yeah, they checked all the other ones so far. I don't know why they would stop giving just a chance to it now, but they're just like, oh yeah, sure, I'll take these even though I don't care what they are. And then she wears them and also doesn't even attempt to
use them
them
for a few seconons, because then we have Rio, who is pacing backstage, like you said, having a mild anxiety attack.
Yeah,
just in the background.
I've
been trying to alone for a week.
And Pizzazz goes over to try to comfort him, to hit on him, mac on him, whatever. And Rio at this point, he can't even come up with a good usually Rio would say something to make Pizzazz angry or something, but he's just kind of like, cut it out, I don't want to deal with you. Yeah. He's not in the mood to invite hell into his life.
You know what, that's a good state to be in emotionally. Healthier.
He just doesn't have the energy after spending the last week or so at a hotel doing nothing, setting up the lights.
In the hotel.
No, he's just going around setting up lights in random places going, this is all I'm good for.
Also, we learn at this point that the earrings that Jem has are the actual Jem Star earrings because conveniently Jem is like, oh, if only Synergy were here, I would tell her to have her turn me into Jem to thank Lynn in real life. And Synergy's like, I'm right here. What are we talking about?
Yeah. Why are you subtweeting me in real life? I'm right here.
And since we learned that these were the real earrings, this means that Pizzazz had the real earrings the entire time, even though it was like Roxy's idea. But I mean, like, would Pizzazz trust anybody else with these fucking earrings?
Yeah.
Why didn't they split up and one person had one real earring and another person had another real earring?
That would have been shady.
Yeah.
Well, Jem can still do things with one earring, too, which actually, that might have cut down on the stupid coincidences a lot. It could have been, she could have found one earring, and Synergy could have been like, oh, my powers are only at half capacity with one earring. Yeah, I know where the other one is, though, so go find it. So the crowd wants Jem pretty badly, as we could tell. And I want to know, do the Misfits think, like they stole the one concert and it did all right, but this Great Wall concert that they're at, like, the crowd clearly wants Jem. Do you think if the Misfits go on stage, are they going to be like, yeah, or are they going to be like, hey, Americans?
No, they'll be going, Misfats.
Misfats. My favorite group.
Yep. The best band.
But Synergy's back, and she makes China-style clothing.
Do you know who the lead
everyone.
singer of the Misfats is?
Pizzazz?
You
Pizzas?
Pizza.
Pizzas. God damn.
Okay, I'm sorry.
But Synergy makes China-style clothing for everyone because she's back, and they're in China.
She's also racist, it turns out.
And yeah, Jem and the Holograms arrive. Pizzazz, rightfully, is like, that's impossible, because it should have been.
Yeah, Pizzas cannot believe it.
The Misfits will not be going on stage tonight, and Pizzas will just have to eat backstage alone.
That's really sad, but, I guess they rightfully earned all of those horrible coincidences, so.
And the Holograms use the Misfits' coordinated burn against them, telling them to enjoy the show, girls.
Great job.
Jem and Rio hug.
It was like a weird, like, really far, like, leaving room for Jesus because he, like, smells her hair. It was really awkward.
He, like, grabs her shoulder with his, like, chin. Like their big creepy claw machine.
Oh my god.
It was an offensive chaste hug.
Oh my god, I didn't look that far into it.
It was gross, trust me.
So Jem's on stage, and we're gonna have our third song of the evening, which is dedicated to Lynn. Love unites us. I hope you're ready.
I want to ask a question really quick.
Oh, go ahead.
So they couldn't give Lynn a last name to make that dedication a little bit more specific? Wouldn't that be like, I'm going to dedicate this song to Ashley?
Well,
but
I mean, maybe that's
not
better
that
because...
Ashley, though, but a different Ashley.
Yeah, just on stage, Jem's like, I want to dedicate this song to Ashley. And, like, all the Ashleys in the crowd erupt. It's like, no, the bitch. And then, like, 3 of them erupt.
No,
and
the cheat.
No, the orphan bitch.
Sorry, I should have clarified from the beginning. She doesn't have a last name because she's an orphan, so that's your fault for assuming, actually. Anyway, this song goes out to Lynn!
Love unites us. Here we go. Gonna play that for you right now.
We come from different worlds, different points of view, yet there's something we share. We both care, what we share is me and you. Love, love, love unites us. Love, love brings us together. One likes the autumn moon, the other likes the sun. Here beneath the sky, you and I, we're sharing and we are one. Love, love unites us. Love, love brings us together. Love, love unites us. Love, love forever together. We are divided by lines on a map. Love unites us and bridges the gap. Love, love unites us. Love, love brings us together. Love, love unites us. Love, love forever and ever.
Hey, Joe, you know what's in China?
Gongs
Gongs!
and style music.
God, it was so bad.
It's like all this episode like culminated into this one really embarrassing moment, and Love Unites Us. They try so hard with their 80s message of we're all the same, man. But it's actually like, we're white and I'll get you.
Pandas.
Pandas.
Yeah, there's a shot of a panda. There's just it's a giant mishmash of Chinese imagery and crowd shots. There's a shot of Lynn like bopping her head, being like, yeah, it's my shit.
Yeah, I love this song that I haven't heard before. It's dedicated to me, I think.
You got shots of Lynn and Jem dancing, I guess, as well, so that's how we know it's about that Lynn. It's not about some other Lynn that Jem met backstage or something.
It's not Linda Mullerin.
That would have been an interesting twist.
Yeah, and everyone would be like, I don't get the connection.
They use a shot of the crowd swaying from side to side twice while lights go over them, which, whatever.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
Jem and company are playing in some China-style open-air thing, building, kind of.
Yep, there's a floating low opacity Jem and Lynn's heads.
Yep,
in
that's
the
always
stars.
fun. 50% opacity is my favorite.
Yep, we love that.
We got fireworks, which, China.
They use fireworks a lot, so that's just a thing where it's like, sure, I will assume no malice on your part here.
And the song, I mean, you heard it. It's basically love has no borders, but... Ooh.
But in the 80s way.
Yeah, in the 80s way of like, I understand, I get yeah, pandas, yeah, great.
I hate this because I actually kind of like Jem's horrible China outfit, but the fact that it's coming from a Western 80s cartoon is the problem.
Yeah, no, I mean, she's got like flowers in her hair and she's wearing a thing with a flower on it, which it looks nice. It's definitely the best of the terrible China gear that everyone else gets.
But like somehow the most like dressy and stereotypical, which is like, this is bad for my eyes.
And we go back to reality. Most of that obviously did not happen because...
Yep, they just sang in the concert.
No furthering of the plot because the plot has nowhere left to go, basically. Jem and company are signing autographs. The two people who've been around the entire episode who are never even named or anything, just the dude with the star hat and the green guy. They're like, hey, you're welcome in China anytime, even though they should have been like, you're fucking 15 minutes
All
late.
China.
Yeah.
The whole country. It's not that big. Also, while they're signing autographs, they don't bother coming down from the stage. They make people reach up to them.
They
Kinda
just sit
lounging.
on the stage, yeah.
And Jem gets down when she sees Lynn attempting to strong arm her way toward the stage, and gives her back a fake pair of earrings, and doesn't even try to pretend they're not a different pair than the one that she was given.
I think that was the thing. I wanted to say that too, that she's pretending to return the earrings that Lynn gave her, but I think she specifically says they're like the good luck charms. I don't think she specifies that they're the same pair of earrings, at least.
Nope, she very directly says these are different ones, but
yeah.
I'm gonna keep the ones you gave me. Anyway, bye.
And that's literally, yeah, it's just Lynn says thank you and they hug, and that's the fade out. That's the end of the episode.
They don't even get any applause. There's a whole crowd standing around that looks like they could have been animated to be clapping, oh look, it's cute. No, they don't really care. They're where's my autograph?
You do your slow zoom out and then the fade, but no, it's just the fade's right there.
And then the episode's over.
And that was Adventure in China. Yeah, it was an episode.
An adventure.
An adventure. Yeah, it was quite an adventure.
It was those two things.
It was an adventure in China.
Yep.
Beth Bornstein crammed a lot of China into one episode.
Oh, yeah.
One might say too much.
I mean, all the weird 80s sensibilities, racism aside, I think this was just a bad episode because of all the stupid coincidences. I'm just gonna...
Yeah, it got sort of boring how many things were happening. Yeah. Let's go to this museum. Let's do something dumb. Let's not berate Jericho for leaving important things where people can steal them.
I think a lot of it, too, the Misfits were kind of relatively calm throughout. Nobody, screamed or anything.
Which is, just shocking.
Yeah,
honestly.
I understand it's a new writer. I'm sure Christy Marks took her aside, and it's well, no, if you're going to write the Misfits, you got to make sure Pizzazz is...
They need to try to kill at least one person.
Pizzazz is a screaming pterodactyl who's going to fire a gun in somebody's face given the chance.
Nope, don't arm her. She will end you. Pizzazz. That's my action movie.
That's why they call her Pizzazz.
Pizzazz. Yeah, let's just make more weird noises for the rest of the podcast.
How are we supposed to, otherwise? I don't know what we're supposed to do. It's just racism.
Yeah.
You guys all heard what we described. You know our opinions on it thus far.
So I guess there's no point in waiting then. Now's the point in the evening when we'll list off all the fun contact things where, you could follow us on Twitter at cwtapod. You could follow me at Octopus, AWKTAPUS.
You can follow me on Twitter at FunnyGirlTM, like trademark. Madeline, do you have a Twitter you want to give?
Yes, I do. My Twitter is Ignore the Robot. I did the art, so I'm also linked
Yep.
Yep.
You've seen Madeline's Twitter before.
Our
She's
wonderful album
our
art.
art savior.
Yeah.
And you can find us on iTunes, on SoundCloud, on Stitcher Radio. Give 5 stars. I want to see 5 stars in the sky tonight, please.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Follow us on Friendster.
Follow
Yeah.
us on,
MySpace.
give us a dig or whatever.
Dropping my rap album on MySpace. We've made these jokes before.
Yeah, we have. You can reach us on Gmail, cwtapod@gmail.com. Tell us about your own time that, you made the cover of Stupid Coincidence magazine, or like when you played a concert at the Great Wall of China, which, I mean, who hasn't, really?
I'm positive Alicia Keys is listening to this podcast.
She's like, shit, I
And
did.
Cyndi Lauper, big fan.
Well, hey, it's the 80s. Why not? Cyndi Lauper, I'm sure, loves the 80s, because she was on I Love the 80s, probably.
Yeah, and we know our podcast is going back in time to the 80s before podcasts existed, so people in the 80s can listen to our podcast.
It's a reverse time capsule.
It's true. We have the technology.
So next week we got Last Resorts. We're moving away from some of the more uncomfortable racism things, thankfully, because it's about a ski resort
For a little bit.
for a little bit.
Yep. Fun times. Silver.
Fun times are ahead. Silver medalist.
Swiss cake rolls.
And
I'm just teleporting into the future now.
and really, I'm expecting, even though we've already recorded the episode and everything, I'm expecting the episode to just be The Empire Strikes Back, basically the Hoth part.
Yep, I like that.
We're gonna have Kimber cutting open Rio so Jem can sleep soundly and not frozen at night.
I love that.
Just you know what? Just take the Gem theme song and put it in place of the beginning title crawl of Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back, and then play The Empire Strikes Back, and just call that Last Resorts. Next week we're going to be reviewing The Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah,
Seems legit.
awesome. April Fools, except not really.
April Fools with
Also,
this
who knows when
episode
it's coming
that is
out.
going to be going up in the middle of April.
Yeah. Shh, we're a little late. It's okay.
And we'd like to thank Madeline for sharing the pain with us. It hurt less.
Well, that's good.
Yeah,
It hurt more for me than if I had, but
we had 2 episodes in a row that were very rough, so it's good to change things up to make it, again, ripping off that Band-Aid.
this one was especially interesting because I thought I hadn't seen it before, and then halfway through I was like, oh shit, is this the one with the 3 earrings thing?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I have seen this. I blocked it out of my memory. So.
All the bullshit you need to cope somehow.
But yep, thankfully it's all over. We can all, exhale. And, for the Can We Talk About podcast, I'm Joe.
I'm Kristen.
And I'm Madeline. I guess.
And
Yeah.
yeah, you are
You
Madeline.
are.
And join us next time where we'll talk about more Gem and the Holograms.
Cool.
Yeah.